Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So I'm back with another video. So a few days ago, I saw that David Wood made a video along with Brother Rachid. Brother Rachid is a well-known Islamophobe. He's an enemy of Islam. And I saw the video. It has to do with the recent Israel-Palestine conflict. The video was just so stupid. It infuriated me.
That land never was called. There was no state called Palestine.
So I felt the need to just absolutely respond to it. They lie about Islam, they lie about the Israel-Palestine conflict, and they lie with the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu. So yeah, let's see what they said, and I'll respond.
Hi everyone, David Wood here with Brother Rachid. Brother Rachid.
Yes.
I've been hearing about this place called Israel for a little while. You heard of this place?
I guess, with the news?
Yeah, I've heard about it on the news. And I've been watching lots of programs, people explaining the situation, and as far as I've been able to gather from watching news programs and especially from watching Muslim videos explaining the situation, here's what happened.
Yeah.
For many centuries, you had a group of people right there in Palestine.
Who said that? He just completely misrepresents that and says that, oh, they're saying that Palestinians have been living there for hundreds and hundreds of years. But this was false because Palestine was like created in 70 years ago. But no one's making that argument. Like this is the thing. Like this is a straw man that a lot of like Zionists often puts out. Palestine should belong to the Palestinian people because they were living in this land and they have every right to be there. That's the argument. It has nothing to do with like, oh, they were living like hundreds of millions of years ago.
They're called the Palestinians, and they're there minding their own business. And then all of a sudden, a big group of Jews show up, push them off their land, kick them off their land, force them into camps, and then Jews take over and begin oppressing everybody. And so now you've got these people who are forced off their land by Jews. They're forced off their land, and now they're freedom fighters just trying to get their land back. And who would deny a person a right to try and get your land back once you've been kicked off your land by what are now occupiers? That's the version of events I'm getting from the news. Now, do you think, how accurate do you think that is?
The problem, it's not true. It's like the Jews, they came from Mars or from another planet as aliens and suddenly they popped up there. Or the version they give is like they came from Europe. That's not totally true. You have to say some of them came from Europe.
He says the most dumb thing with the utmost confidence. So he's saying that
the Muslims are acting as if like these European Jews just suddenly popped up there.
Yeah. European Jews or Zionist Jews did pop up there. They came from Europe. It's not just that, some Jews came from outside. All or most of the Jews came from outside. So they are, in a sense, alien to that country because they're not native. When I say the word native, I mean people that lived in the land long before there was any country there. So these people were there already. So that's why they're native. So when you have a land, any native people that's living on that land will have bigger stake on that land. It's by right. They're there first. According to a Jewish library, which is an Israeli website, Israeli government-sponsored website, it says the following. Israel welcomed approximately 25,000 new immigrants in 2021, an increase of 29% from 2020. Most immigrants arrived in Israel from Russia, 30%, France, 15%, the United States, 14%, and Ukraine, 12%. So what does that mean exactly? It means that majority of the migrants that came to Israel, at least this year, I think, in 2021, were from Europe and America. So yeah, like which part of that is false? Like that is absolutely true, even according to like the Israeli government themselves. So this has nothing to do with like, some Jews just came from outside, so it's okay. No, like majority of them are from outside, and yet the native people of the land are not allowed back in.
Wait, just to be clear, the Jews who are there now, The Jews
Yes.
were there now.
Yeah.
You're saying they came from different areas. Some, there had always just been Jews there. There had always
Right.
been Jews there.
Right.
Some Jews moved there from Europe,
Yeah.
and some Jews moved there when they were kicked out of Muslim countries.
That's right.
And so it's kind of a mixture of various groups there.
By the end of the 19th century, there were more than 25,000 Jews in that piece of land.
So long before Israel, long before
The
modern nation
foundation
Israel.
of Israel. We kicked out of Arab countries through years and decades around 850,000 people, Jews.
Okay, so this is a very common argument you will hear from Zionists. Whenever we bring up the point that Palestinians were kicked out of their own land, they will always retaliate that by saying that, oh, but the Arabs also kicked out the Jewish people from their own land. Except that's a lie. This is a common talking point, but this is a lie. Because of the creation of the State of Israel, there was a lot of political unrest that happened between the Jewish community and the Arab community of most of the Middle Eastern countries. There was a lot of unrest, and the Jewish people in those countries did not feel safe. They just did not feel safe, and they faced a lot of kind of like discrimination, and there's a lot of anti-Jewish riots that happened. Then also on top of it, the Zionists, they actually took advantage of that. They actually sent their operatives, especially Mossad, which is the Israeli intelligence. They sent their operatives there to try and recruit and create more hostility between the Jewish people and the Arabs. And as a matter of fact, let me give you guys some idea of what actually happened. Let's go to Morocco. So in 1948, a riot basically broke out in Morocco, in the city of Oujda and Gerada. So basically what's interesting is that in Morocco, Jews were actually not allowed to leave. So Jews were actually not allowed to leave. However, the Jewish people were still leaving because they didn't feel safe in Morocco. So basically, they were trying to go to Israel illegally. Historian Emily Gottfried, she says in her book, Jewish Morocco.
The two towns located near the border with Algeria were departure points for Moroccan Jews seeking to reach Israel. At the time, they were not permitted to do so from within Morocco.
Basically, what happened is that the Arabs actually did not want the Jews to leave the Arab country. They actually made it illegal to leave. You know, and here this guy is saying that, oh, you know, the Arabs kicked them out. No, that's the complete opposite of what actually happened. So not only did they not kick them out, they actually did not want them to leave, which is why they literally made it illegal, because they were worried that if all the Jewish people go there, it's going to lead to more suffering for Palestinians, and also this is a violation of like their country's kind of like geopolitical situation, because like it's a betrayal of the country. So it's a very turbulent time. So at that time, a riot broke out. Basically, a lot of Jewish people were hurt. But after that, Jewish people started leaving Morocco in droves. However, what is not true is that they were never kicked out. The government never kicked them out. American historian Maud Mondale, he documented French officials who were there who actually said the following.
The riots were absolutely localized to Oujda and Gerada, and that it had been migration itself and not widespread anti-Jewish animosity that had sparked Muslim anger.
So here they're clearly saying that it's not because that the Muslims were like, you know, they like hated the Jews or like or Islam hates Jews or anything like that. It's because they were leaving, it was going to put their own country at a peril. That's why a lot of Muslims were angry. They actually did not want the Jews to leave, right? And they left it anyway. In the midst of that, a riot broke out, and a lot of Jews got hurt. As a result of this, a lot of them started leaving in droves. Now, on top of it, obviously, the Mossad, the Israeli intelligence, were actively trying to make the Jews leave Morocco. For example, the current, or at the time, Mossad director, Isar Harel, he actually said the following.
A wedge had to be forced between the royal government and the Moroccan Jewish community, and that anti-Hassan nationalists had to be used as leverage as well if a compromise over immigration was ever to be attained.
You can read about this in The Secret Alliance by Ted Suslov. Just think about it for a second. These shifty, manipulative, like evil scumbags, they're seeing a very kind of like bad situation unfolding, and they took advantage of that. Because the losers, they want all the Jews to come here. They're basically using propaganda. basically they were trying to create animosity between the government and the people, which is, by the way, treason. They were working against the Moroccan government. So they wanted this because they wanted the Jewish immigrants. It's just so sickening. Like, these people are like absolutely evil. They're just manipulative, kind of psychopathic. It's just absolutely disgusting. But yeah, that's what they were doing. I mean, they literally admit this. They literally admit that they were trying to make disruptions between a country, people of a country. A bunch of snakes. But that's what Zionists are. They're snakes. Right? So, of course, after being brainwashed by the Israeli propaganda, a lot of Jews left, unfortunately, and they kind of betrayed their own people and betrayed their own country. And then most of them left, and now you only have something of like 2,000 Jews that live in Morocco anymore. Anyway, the point is that the Jews were never kicked out, so that's a lie.